Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
On Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am your host, Kevin McIntosh. Starting off with our top story, summer vibes are in full swing as Live at Drake Park kicks off with music, laughter, and community fun. Families danced and sang along with the music lady last Friday, and the good times kept rolling. Up next is the Caribbean Color Steel Drum Concert. This will be Friday, July 11th at 10:30 a.m. An upbeat, interactive show that brings the sounds of the islands to West Bloomfield. So mark your calendars for Joel's Picasso Magic Show. This will be on July 25th, which is also a Friday, 10:30 a.m. A magical blend of art and illusion. All events are held outdoors at Drake Sports Park, so bring your blanket and lawn chair and join the fun. Go to wbparks.org for more. Even though the sun is out and the weather is warmer, that means everybody is outside from the daytime, even at night, and even in the community as safe as West Bloomfield. Being prepared is always a smart move, just in case worst case scenarios. I actually stopped by True Martial Arts at Orchard Mall to take a closer look at their adult self-defense classes and why local residents are signing up for more than just safety, including confidence, fitness, and team building.
Well, I mean, it is a safe community, but you do travel all over, and even in safe communities, things do happen, and it's good to be prepared, especially as a parent. You just never know what's going to happen, and it gives you a sense of confidence. You can just face whatever is going to happen.
What could be more important than knowing how to defend yourself, right? We talk about how martial arts builds confidence in people, and there's a certain brand of confidence that's built through self-defense training, knowing that you can walk through life and that even if you don't have all the tools to defend yourself, that you have some.
Although the classes were meant to teach individuals how to protect themselves, current students and members tell us how it can be a great team-building exercise as well.
It's so much fun. It really is. And you get to meet and work with new partners on a daily basis. And we get the opportunity to explore how each other works and our technique and what we're good at, what we're bad at. And as a result of all of that, it helps to build team building 100% across the line. And our instructor team here is amazing.
Big part of this is like sort of common bond through like sacrifice. So you come in, everybody's working to their limit, sweating, they can't go any further. Other people around you are in the same situation. So coming through that together on the other side, like you just have that natural bond because you know that they went through the same thing you went through and kind of pulled each other through it.
Besides the combat and camaraderie, Greater West Bloomfield residents take away more than just the skills for self-defense at True Martial Arts.
I am definitely in much better condition than I was before I started. I feel like I'm a lot stronger. I'm a lot more confident in myself and my ability, and it does help keep me in very good shape for things outside of class, just taking care of your home or your parents or your children.
And from personal protection to stress relief and also team bonding, adult self-defense classes at True Martial Arts are empowering community members with valuable life skills. You can go ahead and give them a visit at the Orchard Mall on Orchard Lake Road right here in West Bloomfield. Congratulations to West Bloomfield High School's outstanding HOSA competitors, HOSA competitors, who brought home big wins from the international stage in Nashville. Kelsey Hartley placed 6th in dental skills, and Krish Singla secured a 4th in dental terminology, both showcasing exceptional talent in their fields. Meanwhile, Matilda Edverson, and Sophia Zolob earned a top 10 finish in the community awareness category, for their impactful WB Has Heart campaign, which we also featured right here on Civic Center TV. It focused on sudden cardiac arrest awareness. These remarkable students represented Laker Nation with pride, knowledge, and compassion, and we want to say congratulations to our future health professionals on a job well done. Young minds never stop exploring, even during the summertime. And at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, kids now have a fun and interactive way to learn. I actually took a look inside the children's area to showcase a hands-on feature that's sparking curiosity and creativity.
I like it's another activity to do at the library, and we did the matching game, which seemed to be the most fun, right? You matched?
Yeah.
It gives us another option. Although there's already so many options, this is just another great option to have for us.
The interactive play table offers children a chance to learn through play with activities designed to develop critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity. We asked how the interactive play table contributes to the library's ongoing commitment to creating innovative spaces for families to connect and grow.
The table has, I think, 12 different options of different games. We've got some math, some science, some geography, and it has things from toddlers up until about age 12, so a wide range.
For families in West Bloomfield, the interactive play table has quickly become a favorite feature of the library's youth services area. By combining fun and learning, it creates an enriching experience that keeps kids engaged and curious.
So it does both of those very well. There's some educational games, and it is very entertaining. The kids will want to come back and play with it more and more.
A fantastic resource for families right here in our community. If you want to learn more about the interactive play table and other programs, visit the West Bloomfield Township Public Library online at wblib.org. Since 1970, Michigan's senior population, that's age 65 and older, has grown from about 750,000 to about 1.9 million people, nearly matching the decline in children under 18 from 3.25 million to around 2.1 million. Oakland County's blueprint for successful aging highlights challenges like housing costs, burdens, healthcare shortages, and barriers to benefits access. Joining me on the Splash Live to discuss more about senior services right here in our area is Senior Services Manager for WB Parks, Bernadette Hudgens. Thank you for being here, Bernadette.
Hi, thank you. I'm really glad to be here with you as well.
Yeah, I'm very, very curious about this. Aging is something that we all aspire to do. God willing, we're able to, get into an older age. But this is something that we need to pay attention to. It's saying that basically our residents in Michigan, specifically even in Oakland County, they're getting older, and our youth aren't necessarily matching that. So with Michigan's rapidly aging population, what new senior-focused programs are West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation Commission considering to better support our older adults?
Well, I will tell you, one of the things that we have a major focus on is making sure we're providing resources and services. So we just finished our Americans Community Living Act. We had a grant, and it was a wonderful grant, which was provided to us by Haley Stevens. And that grant allowed us to do some programming around nutrition, social interaction, and making sure that we're creating a space for people to feel comfortable aging in place, because that's what most people are making their preference at this point, to age in their home. So having activities for them to be able to do that.
That's an interesting.
And to get them out of the house.
Right. That's an interesting phrase that you brought, aging in place. So that's something I haven't been privy to. But as you said that, it kind of made sense. Just pretty much staying where you are, where you're comfortable, where you've grown. And most people probably already own their house and been there for decades. And why would I want to go anywhere else? And with that being said, I want to ask you about something too. Your work, possibly collaboration with other organizations. The Oakland County's Blueprint for Successful Aging is what we talked about briefly. Are you all collaborating with this blueprint to address some of this housing cost burdens and transportation, and what does that look like?
Well, our role here is to focus on the programming. So when we think about the WB Parks Connect Senior Center is about having activities and resources and information and educational opportunities for our Bloomfield residents. So our goal is to make sure that we're having things that people can get out, do, as well as get information that will help them live their best life. So again, wonderful, you have a video from one of our holiday events. So again, these are the things that we have. So we have that was one of our luncheons. We create those opportunities for people to come and socialize, meet new people. You see, we have a new cornhole kit. We've expanded our game room. So we're focusing on bringing everybody. We don't want anyone to think that it's just about women, but it's about everybody and creating space for activities.
Inclusivity. Love that. Love that. And it seems like you all are, like you said, incorporating new things as well to kind of keep them moving along and feel active and engaged as well. Now, a lot of services are only accessible online as well, resources. And with that being said, there's kind of this barrier that we talked about on Civic Center TV before about technology in our senior residents. What strategies are in place to assist some of these seniors in navigating maybe some benefits or resources online, especially tackling some of those technology and online form concerns?
You know what? That's a great question, Kevin. There are so many things out there that individuals just don't know about. Like, there's actually a program that we have here in WB Parks, and we do it in partnership with the library. It's once a month. It's usually the first Monday of the month in the afternoon, late afternoon, where you can come and learn how to use your technology. That's first the number one thing, because as we all know, there's no longer a Yellow Pages. So if you want to get a contact with someone, you need to know how to access the internet to be able to do that. So that tool is accessible. There's also some other resources out online called AARP has Senior Planet, which is an online tool that people can access. And I will give you these links so when you post it, you can provide it. There's also a partnership that the state of Michigan has with another online training program, and that's it's through the state of Michigan. And those online resources provide free classes, whether it be educational or exercise classes. If you want to have a book club, if you want to participate in a book club, if you want to socialize with people, there's opportunities to do that, and you can do that online. But the challenge is if you don't understand technology and you're not comfortable with it, it would make that difficult. So we do have resources, and we're having some conversations of potentially thinking what are some more frequent classes we can have. So we're trying to figure out what that would look like.
Yeah, I know that's a big factor in just modern living nowadays, being able to navigate and utilize technology and different devices. So that's our senior residents aren't an exception. And I hate to say the word senior and refer to them as that, but we'll talk a little bit more about that coming up. Right now, joining me right here live on The Splash, Senior Services Manager for WB Parks, Bernadette Hudgens, talking about the growing population of older residents in Michigan, even specifically in West Bloomfield Township and Oakland County. Now, I just want to get off track a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. We briefly spoke about the terminology of seniors, if I'm not mistaken. I want you to kind of clarify this. We talked about it off camera, but let's talk about this a little bit more. A lot of people refer to them as seniors. Is this the right term to use? Are they comfortable with this, not comfortable?
I think it depends on the person.
Okay.
What I'm finding is people are living longer. And so you have 50-year-olds. Back in the day, you might have called them a senior. Oh, don't call me that. So we are thoughtful about the terms that we use, but I have had a number of people say, just call me Mary, just call me John. You don't have to put a title on me. So I think that that's just important too, to find out how someone wants to be referred to. But when you think about a group, we are thoughtful to use the word older adult. People can take offense to the word elderly. So again, just being thoughtful of making sure people feel included. And people shut up. I was talking to a sorority sister the other day, and she says, we have all these great programs, but our 50-year-olds and our 60-year-olds don't want to join because it has the term senior on it. And they're not realizing that these resources and information are helpful for them as well. So you may notice in some groups, they're getting away from the term senior or even older adults, and they're just using the age. So they may say 50 and older or 55 and above. So to not turn anyone off is to, again, the goal is to have people utilize the resources. And we want people who are younger to get the resources. And you may be aware that AARP is offering their membership to much younger population because they know that they want to inform people earlier so that you have the resources even before you need them.
Right. Yeah, and is getting ahead of it is the key of it all as well. But getting back to the whole point, yes, I just want to clarify that as well, because sometimes we put labels on people and they may or may not be comfortable with it. So addressing them directly, or at least asking them how they like to be addressed, is probably the most respectful thing. Thank you for that from your experience. Now, we have a lot of communal spaces in our area: parks, events, fitness programs. How does the township and WB Parks adapt those spaces to meet the needs of some of our older adults, as opposed to maybe the youth or even just the younger adults?
Well, it's so funny you say that, because we are constantly trying to think through how can we create spaces that are accessible to all? Because what we found is if you're focusing on making things age-friendly, you're going to capture everyone. So something that may benefit an older adult may also support a mother who has a child in a stroller. So it's all these things of how do we make our spaces more accessible to all? And actually, that's one of the investments that we recently made here at Connect. The beginning of the year, we added automated doors on the front as well as at the restroom, because our goal is to, again, include everyone and help people be able to participate. But I think that's really important, thinking about creating space and making sure that they're accessible, whether it be by wheelchair or by walker, all the things to reduce trip hazards so that people can be safe and have fun and enjoy themselves outside of their home.
Correct. Very considerate, and it's good to know that you all are making those changes and making adaptations, I should say, to different environments to help our older adult residents as well. Now, you handed me over a large packet with a lot of information regarding the older adult residents in our area and, some of the information. But with that being said, given projections that Michigan will have a natural population decrease by 2050, what does this mean for future planning of senior versus youth services in West Bloomfield?
Well, this is one of the things that we're constantly keeping our eye out for, especially as we're thinking about, as we're working on building our new multi-generational community center, making sure that the spaces are thoughtful to be inclusive, thinking about where do we space things, where do we put things, so that we can be inclusive and also thoughtful about larger programs, smaller programs. Where will people relax? Where will people actually want to get away to? Because since we're all going to be in one building, we acknowledge that, some older adults may say, I love to see the kids in passing, but I don't want to hear them. So, okay, well, where do you put them? So all these things are important to make sure that people, again, feel like they are part of the process and that they're able to have a comfortable space.
Right. Well said. That was funny. With me right here live on The Splash, by the way, Senior Services Manager Bernadette Hudgens from WB Parks, just talking about the growing older adult population in Michigan, Oakland County, and West Bloomfield Township. Curious, building this connection between the younger residents and the older adult residents. How can younger residents in West Bloomfield contribute to and connect with the senior community through volunteer programs and maybe even intergenerational activities?
Actually, We are trying to figure out the best way to do that in our senior space. We've been talking about some kind of programming that we want to do, more programming around intergenerational activities.
Mm-hmm.
We currently have the Parks Children's Program. They currently have some programs this summer, actually, with Grandma and Me, Grandpa and Me. So some programs we do currently have that are either in our guide or preparing to be in the next seasonal guide around engaging with your grandparents. So I think that's one piece. So coming on out and having fun with us. Another piece is, I think technology is a great way to connect the younger population and the older population. It's just amazing how children between, the age of 1, how they understand technology in a way that most people may not, only because they live their entire lives with it. And so with that being said, I think technology is a great way to keep people connected.
Nice.
And teaching the children, teaching the older folks how to use technology. And I think the best age to do that is really the ages of 11 to like 14. And then because they are just so excited that they know something that you don't know, that they're really helpful and really patient in educating their family members and friends.
Yeah, I love that. We got to build that bridge. That way the younger residents here can actually, connect with them and see a little bit more of themselves in our older residents as well. Bernadette, we appreciate so much of your time. Any lasting information you want to briefly get off before we let you go?
I do. We actually are having our Connect open house, and we're doing that on August the 26th, and make sure I have my time right, from 1 to 3:30, and that will be captured in our guide. So more information to come that will be in our fall guide. We hope to see the seniors there. We're going to have all of our programmers from throughout all of Parks there, along with some of our instructors. We think that it's really important that people get a chance to know some of the resources and information that's available here at Connect. So we're really excited, and we're looking forward to seeing people on August the 26th here at Connect. Our address is 33230 West 14 Mile here in West Bloomfield.
All right. Well done. And thank you so much again for sharing that information and that insight. Senior Services Manager for WB Parks Recreation Commission, Bernadette Hudgens. Thank you again.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Well said. And continuously providing that information and resources that you need that could affect you or someone that you know right here in the Greater West Bloomfield area. We'll keep you updated. And we have so much more information about what's happening right here in Greater West Bloomfield that we're excited to share with you. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. This is Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and the radio. On the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
I'm Gina Gregory, president of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. I'm excited that Civic Center TV has reached 1 million views on YouTube. Congratulations. That's just terrific. We appreciate everything Civic Center does for the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society and the community. For us, they promote and highlight our events. It's awesome to have them available 24/7 on YouTube. I'm Gina Gregory and proud to be 1 in a million.
Bringing you stories and memories from Sylvan Lake. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. Thank you for being here. Greg Kelser has run his youth basketball camp for over 46 years, debuting it in 1977 at West Bloomfield High School and continuing its legacy ever since. And with me live on The Splash to talk more about this camp is the man himself, Mr. Gregory Kelser. Thank you for being here, Mr. Kelser. Special K.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, okay, so I want to be honest. I just want to have a conversation with you now. I've had you on, talked to you before. 46 years, am I reading this right? 46 years you've been doing this? Why? What's the motivation?
This is actually our 48th year. We started in 1978 at the West Bloomfield Jewish Community Center. It was you said 1977. You're not totally off there. Actually, it was in 1977 that I worked the Dick Vitale Bob Lanier basketball camp at West Bloomfield High School. And I came away from that feeling like I could do it too. Gotcha. I was 20 years old when I did my first camp, and I've been doing them ever since. It's been really gratifying to know that maybe in some small way we've had impact on people now that are 60 years old, if I will, if you will. Yeah, because it's been that long. My first camp, I was 20. My oldest campers were 15, so they're just, a few years younger than me now. But that's the legacy. And, it's really nice to hear them say, well, you know what, I remember you doing this, or you saying this, and, it helped change my attitude towards education or, work ethic and having a good attitude. So that's what the camp is really all about. We teach a lot of basketball, but we also like to take pride in the life skills that we're able to extend as well.
And I want to ask you about that as well. That's good that you brought that up. By the way, the camp will be held July 21st through the 25th, if I'm not mistaken, 9 a.m., 2:30 p.m., West Bloomfield High School, boys and girls aged 7 to 17. Now, I want to ask you about that. 7 to 17 seems like a very random number, but why specifically those ages of 7 to 17?
Well, 7 will include kids that are in the second grade, and 17 will include kids that are probably moving into their senior years of high school. And when you've got a facility as big and as nice as the West Bloomfield High School, then you can have the adequate separation. The young kids are with the young kids, the older kids are with the older kids, and they don't intersect, they don't get in each other's way, and everybody comes away feeling fully fulfilled, and again feeling like they have been able to get the individual attention that they might need. We pride ourselves on that as well with a wonderful 10-to-1 coach to camper ratio, 1 coach to every 10 campers.
Okay.
And
nice.
And it's a good mix. It's a really good mix. It's proven to be really beneficial, we see, for the youngsters, the boys and girls. And that's the other thing, sometimes the girls will play with the guys if they feel they're good enough. And we've had some camps where the girls are really, really stars.
Let's go.
The guys. But typically, we try to keep everybody in their skill level. That's
right.
the thing,
Okay.
your skill level.
Interesting. Rather than just dividing them up by girl and boy skill level. I love that, regardless, because it kind of helps everybody stay sharp as well. Couple other things I want to ask you about. We talked about the off court, some of the factors in regards to that and some of those skills. What do you believe is the most important off the court lesson that you give to your campers?
That their education is essential. This is something I learned from my parents, who were 100% behind my athletic endeavors. But they constantly preached to me how all of those are privileges, but that the education aspect is essential, and it's the one thing that will carry me the furthest. And, you know, they were talking about it, even if I were to go on and play professional sports, I wouldn't be able to do it forever, and your education will come into play at some point. They were exactly right.
Yeah.
And all of my coaches, we all have gone the path. You know, I have some coaches who played in the NBA, others who played college basketball, many of whom coach now in some aspect of basketball, would be at AAU or high school or recreationally. So they know the game, but they also know how important it is to develop the entire individual and not just the athletic part of a child. I am a staunch supporter of having a great attitude and the work ethic that you put into being a good basketball player or a good athlete. You must exceed that effort and have even greater determination in the classroom on a daily basis. That's your job right now, first and foremost.
Yep, and it means so much more coming from a professional like yourself, Mr. Kelser, and we appreciate you for providing that opportunity and that information. One thing out of my personal curiosity I want to ask, the WNBA announced the expansion in the city of Detroit, possibly the return of the Shock. How do you feel about that, your initial reactions? How do you feel like that will impact the youth girls basketball in the Metro Detroit area as well?
Well, I think it's wonderful. You know, I remember when I was in high school, I used to help out with the girls' team. Myself and two of my teammates, we did it for two reasons. We did it so that we could stay in the gymnasium. And we also had great interest in the girls and their progress and learning the game. And the game has come so very far since then. Yeah. And I've actually called a lot of WNBA games myself as a broadcaster, including the WNBA finals in 3 different years. So I have a great appreciation for the game and the opportunities that it provides for young girls who can now, like the boys, aspire to be professional athletes and to be professional basketball players. I think it's wonderful.
Correct.
And it's great to have the Shock back here because you cannot write or tell the WNBA's history up to this point without
the Shock. Let's go.
Having serious chapter or two about the success of the Detroit Shock when they were here, 10 or so, 12 years ago.
Yeah, me and my coworkers talk about it all the time, man. It's written in stone in history, and true Detroit fans know all about it. Hey, Mr. Kelser, we're short on time, but we appreciate you so much. Wish we could ask you more, but thank you again for being here and for your time. Once again, Mr. Gregory Kelser talking about his basketball camp that will be held at West Bloomfield High School, July 21st through the 25th, 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. for girls and boys ages 7 to 17. Thank you again so much for your time, sir.
Thank you, and you do a great job, too. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. About to make me blush right here live on TV. We appreciate that, Mr. Kelson. We'll continuously keep you updated with coverage of that basketball camp as well and other resources right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Marcy Snyder is a visual storyteller who captures nature's profound moments like mother loons with offspring, sun-splashed water scenes, and expressive pets. She will be featured at this year's Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show. And she's actually with me right here on the Splash Live. We want to welcome Marcy Snyder. Thank you so much for being here, Marcy.
Hello, thanks for having me.
No, we appreciate you for being here with us. I looked at some of your work, your photos, and I was just like, wow, she's taking the time to really put a lot of love and passion into some of this work. So what inspires you to share your images at the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show this year?
I love seeing how people react when they walk in my booth. I love seeing how they love the work, and I hear so many stories about how my photos remind them of either family members or experiences they've had. So many people have seen some of my cardinals and tell me how it reminds them of family members that they've lost. And recently, I had one young lady come in and see a photo that I had of my yellow swallowtail butterflies on lilacs, and she was almost in tears that it so reminded her of her grandmother and trips they used to take. So that is so rewarding to see the smiles.
It is. Wow, that's very touching as well. And you'd be surprised how visual art, or just art in general, can resonate with people. Different people have it take them to special moments in their life. And I know that alone just brought a great feeling to you as the artist yourself. So I can only imagine. Can you describe any other moment or scene that you captured that left you personally moved?
Making eye contact with some of these animals, and just to clarify, I'm always a very safe distance away.
Okay.
But making eye contact, recently I made eye contact with an owl, and it was just amazing. It watched me, it blinked, it looked away, it watched me again. It actually moved a little bit closer. And then it flew away, and I was still standing there, and it came back. And it's so hard to even put into words how magical it is. And I have not shared that photo yet either. So Orchard Lake Fine Art Show will be the first time that I show that picture.
I can't wait for that as well. I was looking at some of your photos. I saw the close-up with the deer, too. I said, how did she get so close? I imagine it's like a telephoto zoom lens and everything like that, but it looks like you right there. I've never seen a deer that close. I was like, oh, my goodness. But you're going out there, you're doing what you have to, and it seems like you're respecting their environment as well. If you're going to be in nature, taking photos, being in their area, it's best that you respect that as well. That way you can get the best photos in their natural state. And with me right here live on The Splash, by the way, Marcy Snyder, photographer and visual artist, who will be featured at the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show in July, just talking about some of her artwork and some of her work in general. Now, being a photographer, in what ways do you think photography specifically can strengthen connections within our community, particularly between people, nature, and our local heritage?
Just being able to talk about the pictures. I've had customers come in and they talk about a picture, and there's another customer who happens to be in there and has a related story, and they start talking to each other. And even just being out on scene, I actually was recently watching an eagle's nest, and a fellow photographer happens to be the brother of a coach at the rink that my son skates at. So it's just this close connection. People talk about 6 degrees of separation, and I laugh. That was like 1 degree of separation. So it's just amazing. You'll never know who you're going to be standing next to, or who you're going to meet, or who will see your pictures, and it'll remind them of something else that they want to tell you. So it's just amazing. And I also do some photos of pets. So there are folks who just love the expressions on their pets when they get those photos as well. Those won't be up in my booth, but I do take some pictures, and they get those personally. So it's very rewarding.
And I also want to mention, if you're watching on Civic Center TV right now, you can see behind her, she has some of those were the photos that I saw that kind of had me staring for a while. The water bubble behind you to your right, as well as the eagle. I was like, you have to have like great timing. You have to literally, like, it has to be perfect for you to get that. And you captured those very great eye candy, I should say, great visuals that you have, and a creative vision that you have as well. Now, with that being said, are there any locations that you like to shoot at? Any of your favorite? Anyone that kind of maybe you get a lot of energy from locally, or just internationally or nationally?
Honestly, it depends where you're at, depends on the day. There are so many locations that I never even knew existed. If you just look up nature reserves in your area, you'll be amazed at parks that exist that you didn't even know about. I'm discovering them all the time. And when I travel with my son for his skating competitions, I take my camera and I look up nature areas and see what we can see. I've seen some beautiful wildlife in some other states as well. And by the way, the frames are made by my husband. So I take the photos and he creates the frames.
Keeping it in-house. I love that. Keeping that in-house. Nice. It comes together very nice with that being said as well. Now, I do want to ask you this very briefly before we let you go. What conversations or even emotional responses do you actually want your images to provoke amongst the attendees at our Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show?
So, like I mentioned some examples already of the young lady who reminded of her grandmother. It's the coming in and sparking that reminder of, I've had some pictures of trees on our lake up north, and people come in, where did you take those? Because that looks exactly like our lake. Some loons that, obviously a lot of loons look alike, but it makes people think about their own locations. And I've also had the, okay, how did you get that? Which allows me to kind of talk about some of my stories. The bubble is actually, I call it a happy accident, because if you look closely, you can actually see a reflection of me in my kayak in there, and that was not planned. I was just taking pictures of bubbles. And when I looked on my computer, I happened to be in there. So I call it self-reflection, but I also call it happy accident. But I also have water splashes where I'm in my kayak, balancing my camera and dipping my paddle in the water. So I have lots of pictures that don't come out because they're blurry, but the ones that come out are amazing. And I've had a lot of folks come in and say, okay, what exactly is that? Or how did you do that? And they're amazed at just how I do that. And I've got lots of pictures that just spark conversation. I took pictures of a feather that was floating in the water. And my husband was like, why are you taking a picture of that? And yet I've had several people come in and actually purchase that picture.
Ooh,
so
well
it's
said.
just, you just never know.
Yeah, you never know what'll resonate with someone, what'll speak to someone, and it's those moments like that other people may not see, but the creative eye does, definitely. Thank you again so much. We look forward to seeing you again right here in West Bloomfield at the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show. Marcy Snyder, photographer and visual artist. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Yes, Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show we're looking forward to will be featured right here in West Bloomfield, July 26th and 27th, and we'll continuously keep you updated with coverage and news regarding that event and others. In September 2023, California became the first U.S. state to ban 6 synthetic food dyes, including Red 3 and Red 40, due to neurobehavioral concerns. The FDA has ordered food and drug manufacturers to remove red dye number 3 from products by January 15, 2027. We actually spoke with registered dietitian from Henry Ford Health Systems, Hallie Saperstein, to tell us a little bit more about the ban. Thank you for being here, Hallie.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I appreciate you being here first and foremost, because this sparked my own curiosity, and I want to kind of get into it. Your initial thoughts on the FDA's decision to ban this red dye number 3.
I think it's fantastic. Definitely a step in the right direction. If I can give you a little bit of history, there's something called the Delaney Clause that was effective in 1958. And it was it's part of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. And they it was a clause to say that food additives, if they cause cancer in rats or humans, they must be banned. But in the 1980s, they started studying red dye number 3, and they found that it caused thyroid cancer in rats. And so since the 1990s, they've actually been trying to ban it in food. And actually, before they banned it in food, they banned it in makeup. So I found that to be quite interesting, like in lipsticks and things, because they found that wouldn't be safe, but yet it was still in our food. So there's a lot of, it's crazy. So there's all these watchdog organizations. One is called CSPI, the Center of Science and Public Interest. They've been fighting for years. And finally, it is a priority in the federal government to ban it. So I think it's great for consumer protection and consumer safety, as we've found that it can cause thyroid cancer in rats, and it does cause neurobehavioral issues in people.
First and foremost, thank you for that history lesson. A lot of information that I wasn't privy to, but I'm pretty sure a lot of our audience wasn't privy to as well. With that being said, like there's a lot of things that we may or may not know about what's in our food and the things that we consume. So with that being said, how can parents of West Bloomfield be more aware of some of these harmful food additives to make healthier choices for our families?
Great question. First of all, you want to pay attention, stay informed, read the news. It's all over, and try to make better choices. Always buy fresh food over processed. So always, when you're shopping, shop the perimeters of the grocery store because you're going to find the fresh food. We always say, as children especially, eat a rainbow. Eat all different colors, and you can make your plate vibrant. When your kids come home from school, instead of putting out a processed snack, you could put out fresh fruit, you could put out fresh vegetables, make it fun, put dips out there. Like I said, eat a rainbow. Number two, you could read labels. When you're, to stay informed, look at the back of packages. After I did my recent article for Henry Ford on food dyes, we actually started looking through our labels in our pantry and found there's a lot of hidden food dyes. So you have to definitely, be proactive and look at things. Be creative, find things that you can color your baked goods with. You can use berries, you can use nuts, you can use different things that are going to add color without adding additives.
Interesting.
Unnatural. There's also natural food coloring you can buy. So if you're making cakes and cookies, you can find natural food dyes just where you'd find your regular food coloring in the baking section, and you can use those. They use turmeric and they use beet juice and things like that to color things. And then also stay informed by looking at different websites. There's one called safemama.com, and on that website, there's a list of food dye-free snacks. So that way you can try to stock up your pantry and, with those healthier things and go from there.
It makes sense. But just like, go ahead, continue, please.
Oh, no, you're fine. You go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, but essentially what I was saying, I just want to bring up what you just said. When you look into your own cabinet, and once you're conscious of these things, you'll start to notice these type of things are in a lot of our different foods and drinks, and like you even said, lipsticks and things of that nature. So what are some of the biggest challenges families will face when trying to transition to this dye-free or additive-free food options?
So the biggest challenge, I think cost may be a challenge.
Yep.
So if you, just to keep in perspective, there's over 3,000 foods that contain red dye number 3. So you have to kind of look through the others, and so so the challenge could be it's increased production costs to not use this red dye number 3, which actually comes from petroleum. And there's a decreased demand, so at this time, we don't have as many products out there that are without, these dangerous food dyes, but so the cost might be higher. Food additives also keep our foods fresh longer. Not the food dyes in particular, but just food additives in general. They can slow the microbial activity and slow a chemical reaction. So foods might not stay fresh as long if they don't have additives in them. And also, the food might look different to your kids because they're used to having colorful M&Ms and Skittles and things like that. And so just educating our children on, why we're making this change, and hopefully they'll buy into it.
No, I understand that too, especially when you spoke on food looking different, possibly even tasting a little bit different, lasting a little bit different. Once we remove the dyes and the additives, we're looking at completely different food for the most part. But I want to kind of speak on that to a certain angle. With us right here live on The Splash, registered dietitian from Henry Ford Health, Hallie Saperstein, talking about the FDA removing red dye number 3, or I should say banning it, and requiring manufacturers to remove it from their products by January 15th, 2027. Now, one thing I want to speak on is the United States compared to other countries when it comes to our food. How does the U.S. compare to other countries when it comes to food safety regulations, and what lessons can we learn from them?
So So that's a good question. We actually, we compare favorably, number one. I found that really interesting during my research. In 2022, we actually ranked 13th out of 113 countries on their Global Security Index for food safety. But what we're behind in is the food additives. So food dyes and things like that. Like, for instance, in the European countries, they've actually banned red 40, the yellow dyes, and the blue dyes, and they're actually in the process of banning green dyes. But here we're just starting out and we're banning red number 3. So we are just in the step, we're going in the right direction, but it's definitely going to take time to make all the changes.
Yes, and from my research that I'm looking here, if I'm not mistaken, in September 2023, California became the first U.S. state to ban 6 synthetic food dyes, including red 3 and red 40 as well, for some of those risks that we were talking about. But now this is more of an entire country thing, with the FDA doing it as well. Yeah. So, and me going to different countries before, I've experienced different fruits and vegetables that look a little bit different and taste a little bit different, but now kind of putting it into context, it's because different food and safety regulations from different countries and governments. So thank you for also providing that. Also, are there any natural alternatives that exist for food coloring? And can you just explain how people can incorporate them into their diets?
Yes, so there's definitely natural food dyes that we can use So if you're baking, the easiest one is if you go to the grocery store, there's right next to the unnatural food dyes, there are natural food dye packages. Now, they might be a bit more expensive, but they're using turmeric extract, carrot extract, spirulina for green, berries for purple. They use beet juice and vegetable juice for these dyes. And the other thing is, you don't really need the dye. You can just make your things look more pretty. Like if you're making a cake, for instance, instead of using a colorful dye, you could just throw a bunch of berries on top and make it beautiful. So
that sounds good. I'm getting hungry now.
Doesn't it? I know, right? Sounds much better than food dye.
But here's what I really want to get at, right? With this ban happening in less than 2 years now, obviously it's going to affect food manufacturers, but on a local level, it's going to affect grocery stores and the food that they supply. So how do you think this ban will impact local grocery shopping and product availability in our Greater West Bloomfield area?
So I think the products are going to, start. I think there's going to be more products, that are going to be out there as time goes on. Again, I want, I think I recommended using different websites to sort of see what's out there. There's already products on the market, like Goldfish crackers. They use natural food dyes, which is amazing. They've been doing that for quite some time. So I really don't anticipate too many bumps in the road. I actually see some of the grocery stores even promoting these products because they know that we're trying to make our foods healthier and we're trying to keep, our consumers healthy. So I think they're going to start, maybe highlighting them and end caps at grocery stores, especially the local grocery stores. I find that, people here are very health conscious in West Bloomfield. So I see it as being a benefit. But like I said, there are 3,000 products with this red dye number 3, and there's probably a third that don't have that dye. So it's just going to take some time to kind of move them off the shelves. But like you had said too, we have till January 15th of 2027.
Correct. A lot of good key information that you're giving us right here, and don't want to hold you up too much longer. Any additional information that we should know about in regards to these food additives or dyes, or just anything in general with the food that we consume?
Yeah, just be mindful. Start reading labels. Start seeing what's in products. I mean, things as simple as like brownie mix has all these different additives. And so, trying to start to look at different recipes that you can make with your family. And it's also fun, that are not using all these additives, not using processed foods. Like I said, using, shopping the perimeters, because you want to avoid a lot of different things, not only just food dyes, but like high fructose corn syrup, MSG, brominated vegetable oil, which they find in sports drinks, which is crazy. They put all these things in that have been found to cause cancer, or some cause heart disease, like trans fats. And so we just want to make consumers more aware and try to, and like I said, there's so many resources at our fingertips with the web, with the internet. You can kind of shop before you actually enter the grocery store.
Right.
So just kind of use your resources and make good choices.
I like that you brought up the fact of reading our ingredients. I think it's a whole nother topic to get into, how to read some of these food labels, some of the words and the nutritional facts on there. That's a whole nother conversation. Maybe we'll have you back on to talk about that. But we appreciate your time and information. Once again, registered dietitian from Henry Ford Health, Hallie Saperstein. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
A lot of great information right there. Just wanted to share in case you were out buying some of those Gatorades and sports drinks and popsicles for the kids and for the barbecue. Red dye number 3 is commonly found in candies, baked goods, snacks, dairy products, and frozen desserts, which obviously widely impacts a lot of consumed items. We will continue to bring you the latest news and updates on this and other health-related topics affecting you. Recently in Greater West Bloomfield, the Chaldean Cultural Foundation opened its doors of a brand new community center, inviting bishops, members, and township officials to check out the space and for the community to see all of its incredible resources making their way to our area. Our very own Jake Schaff went out on the scene for the story.
Outside of Iraq, Michigan is home to the largest Chaldean population in the world. And just recently, a brand new cultural center right here in Greater West Bloomfield opened up for the Chaldean community to embrace and celebrate their culture. With several different amenities for the entire community, there is something for everybody here with this building and provides such a powerful connection to everyone who is proud to be a Chaldean. What has been your favorite thing to see here tonight from all the incredible amenities that are available?
So my favorite thing to see is by far the library, Bishop Brahim Library. The manuscripts, I love history, so just to see like 1,000-year-old manuscripts, that's our roots, and seeing that it's been digitized and all that they've done to preserve and keep those records and to make them accessible to future generations to come. It's really a beautiful thing.
Beautiful place, #1 community center I've seen in America. It's a full-service building, from studios to libraries, offices, Chaldean support, chamber, foundation, and the church is involved as well too. So you have priests that are active coming in and out every day.
It's really a dream come true for many people in the Chaldean community. We've been trying to figure out how can we best preserve our culture, our heritage, our identity, and this is a culmination. I mean, we've been looking at this building for more than 10 years, believe it or not, and by the grace of God, we're able to buy it about a year ago and really accelerated the renovation and are very happy to now share this with the general community. We have a cooking demonstration kitchen, podcast studios, television studio, business incubator, a theater. These are just some of the wonderful variety of options that we have at this new center.
It's absolutely phenomenal. It's our West Campus. As you know, we've been around for almost 24 years. This is a tremendous achievement to be in this phenomenal town. We're in one of the richest communities in the state of Michigan. And it's a great honor to be here, and it's a great honor to serve our 500,000 Chaldean residents all across the United States of America. So that's what this organization is going to do here in West Bloomfield. We've got the library. We're going to have our National Museum here, and most of all, we're going to be serving our Chaldean community that's needy, that needs help. And we're not just open to Chaldeans; we're open to everybody, of course. So we're very proud of that.
Do nights like these make you proud to be Chaldean?
Yeah, I think this is what we're trying to do is create facilities that will serve generations to come. And so that more and more people will use this facility, Chaldean or not, to the greater benefit. It's educational, it's cultural, and it's meaningful. Those are very important.
The biggest thing that I want people to take away is that they need to learn to give back. That's one of the things that we're very proud of with our Jewish brothers and sisters is they're really, really good at giving back, and we want to teach our Chaldean community to do the same thing, to give back. We've raised over $15 million, and we hope to continue that. So the greatest achievement would be if our people learn to give back to the community.
With such a vast collection of knowledge and entertainment, there is something for everyone to enjoy with the new Chaldean Cultural Center, and it's clear just how much of an impact it's going to have on the community for many years to come. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Thank you for that story, Jake. A great story, just talking about another great resource as well right here in Greater West Bloomfield. You want to check it out for yourself or just find out more information regarding the Chaldean Cultural Center, go to their website, chaldeanfoundation.org, for more information. And you can keep up with Civic Center TV on all digital platforms: Facebook, Civic Center TV 15, YouTube, Instagram, and X. We are at Civic Center TV, and of course, our website, civiccentertv.com. I've been your host, Kevin McIntosh. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.